Hi everyone, and welcome to this edition of Ask a New York City Tour Guide. In this episode, we are going to look at our favorite new things. These are things that have been around in the city for less than 5 years. For me, that is art galleries. Now, most of the art galleries are well over 5 years, some well over 10, some well over 50. But the art, it changes every season, so there's always something new to see. And I definitely recommend spending at least a few hours just going to some galleries. We have quite a few art gallery areas. Now let's see what the guides have to say. What's your favorite new place in the city?
My favorite new place in the city? I kind of love the new subway stop, the 7 stop out at Hudson Yards, just because it's so far underground.
My favorite new place is actually walking along the waterfront, specifically the NYC ferries. It's pretty much like the subway, but on the waterfront, and it's super cheap because each route is only about $3. So, for example, you can go all the way from Queens all the way down to Far Rockaway, and it's about an hour and a half. There's nothing quite like being on the water and being able to see the beautiful skyline, because most of the time people who live in New York, we take the subways, and so we're always underground, at least for travel wise. So this, it's just beautiful.
My favorite new place, because I would always eat the cookie dough batter, and my mom or my aunt would tell me not to because I was going to get salmonella. So my favorite new place is Dough, the cookie dough place that's completely, you're allowed to eat it. I mean, it's really bad for you, and you're probably going to gain a lot of weight if you eat it too much, but it is so good, and I love it. So good.
New place here in the city. There's a restaurant that opened, I think within the last 2 or 3 years, called Le Coq Rico. We've all heard of steak houses, but this place is a chicken house. This chef has figured out the best way to cook chicken possible. He has also found the best chicken in this country. You look at the menu, you can either have, if you want chicken from New Hampshire, you can do that. If you want chicken from the Pennsylvania Dutch country, you can do that. If you want guinea fowl, you can do that. What you do is you just order a chicken, brings it to the table. They have all these delicious sides like potatoes that you can just do family style. 2 thumbs up all the way.
Favorite new place in New York City is the DeKalb Market in downtown Brooklyn. It's near a lot of attractions like the Brooklyn Arts District and the Brooklyn Academy of Music, as well as Brooklyn Heights, Brooklyn Borough Hall. But also it has 40 food vendors. Some of them are real great old New York City brands, and some of them are new. It's a real foodie paradise, and it's not too crowded yet until this video.
Okay, so what's one of your favorite new places?
Yeah, I love Corona, Queens, where I have a couple of tours that I've done, and there's an Ecuadorian bakery on Roosevelt Avenue that I think is pretty young, but I can't vouch for how young it is. But they're just very spirited. The food is great. And so that's a neighborhood that's rising. Of course, if I go to Flushing, there are always new places, and there's a wonderful dumpling place that's fairly new. I'm pretty sure they're less than 5 years, and that's Galaxy, which does a wonderful job. And they have a number of outlets now. But I like to take people to the main one on Main Street. Just great dumplings and other things, and high quality.
Less than 5 years old, I would say probably the new additions to Brooklyn Bridge Park, as it's stretching out more towards Brooklyn. They got the new hotel there. They've added a maze you can walk through, and you're right by Brooklyn Heights, so easy to get something to eat or drink afterwards.
My favorite new place that's under 5 years old is Domino Park. I think they've done an amazing job of taking this old Domino sugar factory and making it into this great park. They're thinking of everyone. It's got a great dog park. It's got a great bocce ball type of place so you can bring the kids, you can bring the dog. Domino's Park in Williamsburg. That's what I will choose.
My favorite new-ish place in the city is the newly renovated South Street Seaport down on Fulton Street. It was an old dock with a lot of old buildings, Schmirmhorn Row, but now it's full of like cool contemporary shops and a mall and a movie theater and also an old print shop. So you really get a past fusion of past and present and future. Very cool.
All right, so my favorite new attraction, like within 5 years, is probably Pier 55. It's technically not done yet. You can't visit it yet. It'll be a while before it's visited as well, but it looks really cool. And you can see it from the High Line pretty easily. And the High Line is only a little bit older than that. I mean, I'm 26. And I was a teenager when it opened, so it's pretty fresh. But from the High Line, you get a great view of Pier 55, which is really close to where the Titanic was supposed to dock, so you've got plenty of things to see around there. And what I love the most about it is that the supports that park will eventually stand on all kind of look like boats in dry dock. And everybody forgets that the west side of Manhattan used to be a really popular place for shipping and cruise lines. So it's a little reminder of where we came from in that side of the island in Manhattan. And also a way for us to move forward and repurpose that space to make it useful for today.
Well, sad to say, but the observation deck at the new One World Trade Center is very well done. Of course, it does remind us of a horrible tragedy, but the fact is that they handled that situation and its remembrance appropriately.
Favorite place in New York City that's less than 5 years old is the Metrograph. The Metrograph is right on the line between the Lower East Side and Chinatown, and it is a 2-screen movie theater, restaurant, bar, and bookstore that was built into a converted old Chinese funeral home. They have movies for kids on the weekends. They have movies whether you want to see a documentary about New York City that's only playing there, see an incredible art film that's been restored from the 70s. They have all sorts of really cool special events and the comfiest seats of any movie theater in New York.
Actually, I don't know if I like it or if I hated it. It's the Vessel. It's this new artistic project installation we have in Hudson Yards. $200 million is too much for that piece of metal, right? Sometimes it's beautiful and sometimes I just hate it. So, I don't know, up to you guys.
My favorite new place is the Oculus. Who doesn't love a monolith capitalism right next to a memorial? But honestly, it's a very enchanting building.
My favorite new place would be the Oculus. And it's not because they've turned it into kind of a shopping mall, but just for the architecture itself. It's a Santiago Calatrava Oculus. It's kind of made, it looks like a Stegosaurus, and it's a pretty remarkable building in and of itself. So regardless of what they use it for, it's a stunning building. I'm a huge Calatrava fan, so I love that building. Love it.
It's a controversial choice, but one of my favorite new places in New York City is the Oculus. It was expensive, it was badly done in many ways, but the visuals of the place are so eye-popping, and the poetry of what it's there for is so meaningful. I love it.
My favorite young place is my boxing gym. There's this new kind of trend. I don't know if it's anywhere in any other city in New York. It's like bougie, like workout studios. And this one is called Grit. There's a bar and a boxing gym in it in the same space. So yeah, it's my favorite because it's really made me commit to my health and working out. And it's a fun time and it's family owned.
Hopefully these suggestions inspired you to check out some places when you finally get to visit here. Caution, because of the coronavirus, a lot of places are either not open or they are permanently closed. So definitely give a call before you go. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully we see you in the next episode. And as always, please like, share, subscribe, comment. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.